I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes. Woo! Yes to life. I'm saying yes to life. Yes right to now. Yes, yes. The spirit of love within me is expressing itself right now. The spirit of joy within me is expressing itself right now. What are we gonna create today? The universe is ready to play. Yes. Spirit surely will lead the way. Yes, if you just say yes. I'm saying yes. Yes, 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 yes to life. Ooh, I'm saying yes. Yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes. Yes, 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 yes to life. Yes to life. I'm saying yes to life. Yes right to here, life. Right now. Yes. The spirit of life within me is expressing itself right now. The spirit of light within me is expressing itself right now. Whatsoever you conceive, if you believe it, you can achieve it. The universe will always agree. Yes, if you just say yes. I'm saying yes. Saying yes. I'm saying yes. Saying yes, yes, yes. I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes. Yes to life. I'm saying yes. Yes, 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 yes. Woo-hoo. Yes to life. Oh, I'm saying yes to life. Oh, let me hear you say it, say it, say it, say it, say it. Let me hear you say yes, yes, I'm saying yes, 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 say it, say it, say it, say it, to life. Let me hear you say it, say it, say it, yes to life, yes to life. I'm saying yes to life.
If I wanna have more love in my life, it's time to open my heart up and let it shine. Whatever it is I truly desire is mine if I can be inspired. I've got a treat and move my feet. I've got a treat and move my feet. Nobody else gonna rescue me. I've got a treat and move my feet. If I wanna have more joy in my life, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep on smiling till I feel alright. The key to success is in my hands. As soon as I understand, I've got a treat and move my feet. I've got a treat and move my feet. Nobody else gonna rescue me. I've got a treat and move my feet. If I wanna have more peace in my life, I need to take time to listen to the voice inside. If I know who I am and my aim is true,
Good morning and welcome to the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living, where we are coming to you live stream from the Inspiration Cafe right here in Paoli, Pennsylvania. Wherever you may be in the world and wherever you may be on your spiritual path, we love you and we welcome you here. This is the place to spend an hour with us and we with you. So thank you for joining us. Well, here we have an opportunity to utilize the wonderful principles of science of mind, so beautifully put together by our own beloved founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. And he made such beautiful use of spiritual, philosophical, scientific ideas, bringing them all together in a very practical spirituality for which we are deeply grateful. And our community, even though we don't meet in person that often again yet, and we will, but our beloved community is very important to us. We find ways to connect with each other, to support each other when sad or unhappy things may be happening in our lives. We support each other, we love each other, we hold each other closely. And when we have fabulous things taking place, we celebrate with each other. We are a beloved community. And so wherever you are, if the time may come that you're not yet a part of this beloved community, we invite you to become so. In the meantime, we're just happy that you're here. We are always looking forward to a greater vision of our world, a greater possibility for all the people in our world and for the planet itself, because we are all about focusing on a world that works for everyone, actually a world that works for all, that includes all sentient beings. And we also have a great vision, and that is that we are in the process, it's our mission actually, we're in the process of awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Now, whether or not you have ever thought yourself to be magnificent, let's consider it today, because it is the truth of everyone's being. And we utilize these beautiful spiritual tools for every imaginable human experience. So come along with us today as we celebrate life, as we find ways to love the world to wholeness, and starting, of course, with ourselves. And we have a great purpose statement here. Would you like to say it with me? Living, loving, learning, spirituality that works. And so we will begin with a wonderful song from Amy Steinberg called One Step.
Old-time religion is a box I do not fit in. I am metaphysical, I am transcendent. Change the situation by changing your mind. Raise the vibration by knowing you are divine. Make a mental path, one step, repeat. I surrender to the presence of the God in me. Make a mental path, one step, repeat. I am practicing the presence of the Goddess in me. What do you believe? You've got to know your truth. Pure potential possibility that is you. If you stand in opposition, you perpetuate the thing. What you resist, persist, so let love be what you bring. Make a mental path, one step, repeat. I surrender to the presence of the God in me. Make a mental path, one step, repeat. I am practicing the presence of the Goddess in me. Make a mental path, one step, just to surrender to the presence of the God in you. Make a mental path, one step, just to practicing the presence of the Goddess in you. Follow your intuition and the passion that you got. Be pulled by your vision, don't get pushed by your thoughts. Everything experienced is energetic. Make a mental path, one step, repeat. I surrender to the presence of God in me. Make a mental path, one step, repeat. Practicing the presence of the goddess in me. Oh, make a mental path, one step, just do. Surrender to the presence of the God in you. Make a mental path, one step, repeat. Oh, 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 yeah. One step. Do not be afraid. One step. Do not be afraid. One step. Do not be afraid. One step. All it takes one, all it takes one, all it takes one, and all it takes one step. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. One step, one step, one step.
Hello, kids. I hope you're gathered around because I'd like to have just a couple minutes with you before you continue your wonderful Sunday morning activities, whatever they may be. So, I may have asked you this before, but I know you don't probably, although some of you may, remember when you were just a baby. I know some people have memories that kind of go back that far, but most of us don't. But when you were a baby, take it from me, you had to learn to do a lot of things. Well, there was the rolling over, and that was probably a big surprise. Whoa! And then there was the sitting up, and then the creeping or the crawling, and then standing up. Wobbly little legs, right? You've seen little ones do this, even though you may not remember your own little journey. And then a little step, and then fall down, and then get up again and take another little step, and then finally just walking and running and skipping and playing and growing. So physically, we continue to take these steps one at a time. And you know, when we hear about taking baby steps, remember, a baby step is a big deal to the baby. And these changes and this growth that we experience along the way is always a big step. We become more graceful about it. And it's not just physically that we grow, but emotionally. The baby doesn't have a lot of control over its feelings, and it screams and cries a lot. When it needs something, it needs to do that to get our attention. But then ultimately, we learn how to ask differently for things. And so we become calmer and more in harmony. And mentally we grow. We finally understand a little bit more about the world we live in. When you go to school, you learn more and more about it. And it's a very exciting, wonderful process. One step at a time, and we find ultimately that we're growing spiritually the whole time. And when we realize that we can never, ever be outside of the life of God, everything gets better. And we're still going to have human experiences, right? You know, there was a movie some time ago that I thought was wonderful. I think it was called Inside Out, where we learned about the different feelings that people have, happy, sad, angry, all those different things that human beings have. And we learned that it's possible to feel joy, to learn how to bring that feeling up. And so step by step, we're understanding that we live in a whole lot of different places in our hearts and minds. And wherever we are at that time, happy, peaceful, sad, angry, any of those things, that we are still absolutely held in the divine embrace, because you can't get outside of the life of God. And while we're moving through and learning how to express this beautiful spirituality, God in us, as us, moving through us, we also honor that we have the human experiences too. So have some human divine experiences today and know how much we love you. And I'll talk to you again next Sunday. Bye for now. What would you all say to a meditation? I say yes. Let's just enter into that sacred space where we take a deep, holy breath of spirit and let ourselves be present in the presence. And wherever we are in consciousness at this moment, it's just the right place. Whether we're tired or energetic, peaceful, afraid, sad, happy, any of those feelings are okay. And we're going to move from where we may be to where we choose to be. And the way that we go about that is simply to remember that there is a loving presence within us, all around us, holding us so tenderly, keeping us clear mentally, peaceful emotionally, energetic and healthy physically. So let's just rest in this sweet, sweet life of spirit that brought us into being so perfect. Allow this divine life to continue to develop within us, step by step, a beautiful sense of belonging. We belong to our source. We belong to one another. So let's come into our heart space. Enter in willingly, gratefully, with a healthy expectancy that this sweet and precious life of God is changing and transforming us. Here in this place of love, in the divine embrace, let us feel that essence of love that is our internal, eternal presence of truth within. That loving essence is our true, authentic self. Let's fill up with it physically, emotionally, mentally, until we are a glowing ember of divine love. And then allow it to spill out from our consciousness, touching and blessing everyone with whom we may experience life today. And let the love move out, filling the world, touching, blessing, illuminating, loving with such compassion. Heart to heart, mind to mind, the love becomes stronger and brighter. It heals and nurtures, it blesses. Just let it flow out. Imagine every sentient being touched and blessed and lifted in this love. Let it continue to flow out as we return to our own hearts. Know that the infinite wisdom and divine love of this universe continues to do its uplifting work as we rest quietly within our heart space and allow ourselves to be illumined, to be inspired, and most of all, to remember the I am, that I am, in a moment of sacred silence. Oh, how sweet it is to feel the essence of this divine love, to know that it continues moving out into the world and even beyond. This universe is now illuminated with the love light. We ourselves are transformed. And so we give thanks that the shift has taken place, and that we continue to grow in the consciousness of love, compassion, well-being, and wholeness. All is well. All is well.
In your heart is a voice, it is a melody calling, eager to show you the way. Now is the time, make the choice, don't go and keep yourself waiting, and peace could be yours today. Singing, God is, I am, I know, I am grateful. I release and let it go. God is, I am, I know, I am grateful. I release and let it go. Let spirit hear it. God is, I am, I know, I am grateful. I release and let it go. God is, I am, I know, I am grateful. I release and let it go. Beautiful. Now there may be times when you've strayed from the path that you feel is more aligned with the truth. But with you always I've stayed. My love, it never will falter. The blood that flows there in your heart beats the proof. God is, I am, I know, I am grateful. I release and let it go. God is, I am, I know, I am grateful. I release and let it go. One more time. God is, I am, I know, I am grateful. I release and let it go. God is, I am, I know, I am grateful. I release and let it go. Said I release and let it go.
Thank you, Margaret. And now I have the great opportunity to introduce to you our practitioner of the day, Cheryl Macklin.
I want to rearrange the furniture. Good morning, everyone, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us. We welcome you, and we celebrate the fact that you are with us. I have a few quotes from the Science of Mind textbook that I'd like to share before I do my treatment. From page 34, there is that within us which partakes of the nature of the divine being. And since it partakes of the nature of the divine being, we are divine. It reacts to us according to our belief in it, and it is an immutable law subject to the use of the least among us. From page 183, therefore, it logically follows that this system of treatment is for the purpose of uncovering and neutralizing the wrong states of thought, of building in mind a concept of our spiritual birthright. Thought, which is built upon a realization of the divine presence, has the power to neutralize negative thought, to erase it, just as light has the power to overcome darkness, not by combating darkness, but by being exactly what it is, light. I'm going to state this treatment in the first person and invite you to take it for yourselves. On this glorious day, I celebrate the divine presence within me and within each person here and within each person listening. It is glorious to know that I am one with this divine presence. And I look forward to Dr. Maxine's talk to learn about the kingdoms of consciousness, as I am always working on the intention of deepening my faith and moving through the levels of consciousness so that I know without a doubt in each moment that I am one with God and that my thought is focused on the positive. And so I open to this wonderful celebration of the divine in each of us. And I celebrate the music and everyone participating in this wonderful gathering today. And I know with great joy that I accept this word gratefully, and I release it into the law, which only ever says yes. Of course, I am one with the divine. And I, with great gratitude and positive expectancy, I release it into the law, knowing that it is already done. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Cheryl. It was lovely. Oh, let's join me perhaps in speaking our affirmation together. It is, I honor each step along the way of humanity's evolutionary path, deeply grateful for the spirit that leads the way to wholeness. Oh, I like that. Hi. Okay, I am so happy that we're starting out with our next to the last Sunday in this month of August. As you know, the theme for the year, which we share with Centers for Spiritual Living, is Living Everyday Wonder. That's something I love that we all do and can do, no matter what else may be going on, to be aware that there's something that is wondrous in every moment of every day. And the theme for August has been loving the world to wholeness. Don't you think that's a very good idea? Loving the world to wholeness. And today, I thought it would be great to review the kingdoms of consciousness. Now, many of us are aware of these. I've taught them. We've practiced what it feels like to be in each of the four kingdoms. And today, I'm simply calling it From Four Kingdoms to One, because we are on this evolutionary process of moving individually and collectively as a human race from one point of consciousness to the next, all the time being held in a context of infinite love and divine possibilities. So, I have a quote from Ernest Holmes which says, "Any thought which tends to inspire, to comfort, and to give peace to the mind is good." Through our knowledge of the kingdom within, we are able to claim our power and dominion. You see, it's not power over anyone. It's not dominion over the earth. It's power and dominion within our own consciousness. Wow! We don't even have to leave our lazy boy easy chair. Right here, we have the power and the dominion, and it's time for us to step up to it. So, although we tend to operate from several different kingdoms in this particular context, 4 of them, kingdoms of consciousness, we ultimately find that we live and dwell and have our being in the one kingdom, the presence of the divine in, through, and as us. Well, I learned these kingdoms many years ago when I was studying and attending some beautiful retreats in just above Portland with Marcia and Lloyd. And this was both sacred days of ministry and co-creation, and these are so meaningful to me. And I know they are to you if you already know them, and I trust they will become even more so, and perhaps illuminate those who have not even heard of them yet. You'll find them familiar. You'll find that you have been moving through them and that you continue to move through the different aspects of consciousness every day, moment to moment, actually. So if I had a chart, and I would like you to use your creative imagination, here is the chart. It looks like this, see? That's a big rectangle. And then make a line right down the middle, and make another line horizontally, 4 kingdoms, okay? So we have Kingdom 1, Kingdom 2, Kingdom 3, and Kingdom 4. I'm going to guide you through each one right now. Kingdom 1 is the kingdom of pre-personal consciousness. It's the kingdom of slow creation. It's where everything is done to us or for us. And this is true both of the human individual who begins life as an infant, and is true of society itself. So I'm going to look at both of these aspects. It's the follow the leader consciousness when we're dealing with humanity. Let's go way back to the days, prehistoric times, when there were so many terrible threats on the earth, whether it was saber-toothed tigers or other animals or other tribes of people, fire when we finally discovered it and what it could do to help and cook and warm us and what it could do to create problems for us. There were so many things that people were afraid of. And so at that level, just like the infant who is completely dependent upon its caretakers, so society at that point had to have a leader who would go out and brave those saber-toothed tigers and find food and help us deliver that food back home so it could be cooked and eaten. I guess they cooked it eventually. And so this search, whether it is in human, individual, or whether it was at that time in the race human consciousness, it was, how can I become? How can I feel more powerful? Because right now I don't. I'm counting on the leader. I'm counting on my parents, whichever way it is. It is the search for self-awareness. And whether it's individual or whether it's humankind, that's how we begin. Isn't it interesting how the human child and teen and adult replicates the movement of human consciousness? Very interesting. Microcosm, macrocosm. So in order to move from Kingdom 1, which is pre-personal consciousness, everything is done to us or for us, into kingdom 2, which is the portal of self-dominion through which we move in order to get to the next kingdom of consciousness. Now, some examples of this. In kingdom 1, the feelings and the ideas and the beliefs and the experiences, it's about dependency. And in the greater human arena, we move slowly into clans and then into larger groups. And how do you identify when you're in kingdom 1? Because I think it's very helpful throughout the day even to ask ourselves, what kingdom am I dwelling in right now? Am I feeling as though everything's being done to me? Am I feeling victimized? Am I feeling blame? What he said, she said? I can't help it. I need to escape, and I don't know how because I feel powerless. That's a kingdom 1 kind of thing. And it happens in humanity as well as in the individual. We know what that feels like. We want to get through the portal of self-dominion into kingdom 2. That's the next step. We all need to go through these different kingdoms, individually and collectively. So, kingdom 2 is the kingdom of personal consciousness. The first one was pre-personal. You know, the baby doesn't even know that that hand belongs to them. and ultimately they get it figured out pre-personal. But the personal consciousness is what we're moving into in kingdom 2. And that is the kingdom of solo creation, where everything is done by us. We don't want them to do that for us anymore. We're standing up like the 2-year-old does, right? And in fact, the quickening of that is the quickening. It's spirit within us awakening while the ego is developing. And my dear ones, please, let's not try and get rid of the ego. The ego must develop in order for us to be healthy beings. At the same time, the quickening of spirit is really taking place. It is there the seat of self-actualization. Self-actualization. This takes place in the individual. It takes place in humankind. Many of the people in our community here know the story and even say it sometimes about my son, my firstborn son, Jimmy, when he was 2. He was determined. And he would say to me sometimes, I can do it my myself, whether he was putting on his jack-ack or picking up his blank-ank. I can do it my myself. And many of us find ourselves using that sometimes. Thanks anyway, I can do it my myself. But that's an important stage, isn't it? It's called the terrible twos. There's nothing really terrible about it. It's a very natural progression that takes place. Well, the feelings and the ideas and the beliefs that take place in that little 2-year-old, sometimes we feel, even as adults, like, I can't count on anyone else to do that. Huh? You can't depend on anyone. It's just easier to do it myself. See, those little 2-year-old feelings are sometimes within us too. But as far as the culture is concerned, what has happened in the world when the civilization, whether it's a group here or a group there, when they ultimately realize, don't need that leader. I have something within me that says, I can do this. And so that's sometimes overthrow of governments, impeachment, grassroots action, questioning authority. Do you know, remember in the 60s when the bumper stickers were like, question authority? Come on, Socrates was the first one who said that. That's where he wound up with the hemlock, because he was teaching the kids to be thinking for themselves. Question authority. That's a sign of that kingdom. Revolutions, independence. It is the portal of self-transcendence to get to Kingdom 3. Kingdom 3. Don't we love Kingdom 3? It is the kingdom of transpersonal consciousness. The kingdom of co-creation. We're working with each other. There's no more just being done to or being taken care of. There's no more getting angry and having to assert ourselves. Here, we are working together. It is where everything is done through us. Oh, what a magical, beautiful, wonderful place to be. It's the gathering. It's the seat of self-recognition. It's our beloved community. It's our board meetings. It's our gatherings. It's our labyrinth walks. It's our parties. It's our celebrations in the park. It's being together and working together. Our practitioners. It's coming together for a common good. It's gathering. Oh, what a beautiful place this is, both individually and for humankind. So, examples of this, individually and universally, for the feelings and the ideas and the beliefs and the experiences. Here's one. There is a power for good. It's greater than I am, and I can use it. There's a power for good greater than I am, and we can use it. There's a power for good greater than we are, and it can use us. Let's let it use us. That's Kingdom 3. It's so beautiful. Let's co-create, you and I. That's Kingdom 3. I'm in the flow. I live in grace. It's all being accomplished through me with grace and with ease. It's community. It's connection, belonging, working together. It's interdependence, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. We find this in groups in the world, institutions that are doing good work, religious, spiritual communities who are working together to help others in their communities, to be lifting a lamp of possibility and hope where it doesn't seem like there was any, to bring light into darkness as groups of people. You know, one person can pray, can treat, can affirm the truth, and make a great, beautiful difference. But when we come together in community, we are a greater opening for the flow of spirit to move through us and do its magnificent work. I love Kingdom 3. And how we get from Kingdom 3 to Kingdom 4 is through the portal of self-realization. We have moved through the portal of self-dominion, through the portal of self-transcendence, and now we're moving through the portal of self, capital S, self-realization. You know, when we go back to moving from Kingdom 2 to Kingdom 3, during the Kingdom 2 process, we become aware, pardon me, that we must move to a different place in consciousness. When we've entered from the place of, I can do it myself, leave me alone please, to, I really need to belong because here there's greater presence and greater power, we start breathing more easily. You know, in the 60s of every century, it seems some revolution has taken place that has ultimately moved us into Kingdom 3. Whether it's the French Revolution, whether it is our own revolution, where we begin to make a difference and not belong to another entity in the world, but to be independent. And by the 70s of the 18th century, we were moving into our independence as United States of America, ultimately. And in the 60s, in the 1960s, do you remember the 1960s? That's when we were questioning authority. That's when we were knowing that we just had a glimmer, that love is all we needed. And we ultimately moved together, not necessarily gracefully, but there was a revolution of consciousness. Prior to that, in the 1860s, was when the Unity, Christchurch Unity, was formed by the Fillmores. That was revolutionary thinking. Divine science. Ultimately, not till the early part of the next century did we come forth as religious scientists, science of mind, that was so brilliantly put together by Ernest Holmes. And there was a great revolution in consciousness, ushering us into Kingdom 3. Beautiful. Okay, how do we now go from Kingdom 3 to Kingdom 4, and what is Kingdom 4? Kingdom 4 is the kingdom of omnipersonal consciousness. And we arrive there through this, as I mentioned, the portal of self-realization. It's the kingdom of all creation. We went from the kingdom of slow creation to the kingdom of solo creation to the kingdom of co-creation. Kingdom 4 is the kingdom of all creation. It's where everything is done as us. Oh, what a beautiful concept. Everything is done as us. Not to us, or for us, or by us, or even through us, which is still beautiful, but as us. Oh, my dear ones, when we attain this consciousness, it's the prize. It is the seat of self-revelation. And examples of this is, we may have set an intention, something that we wish to accomplish that day, whenever, and we go, where did the time go? It's all done. How did that happen? You know those feelings, don't you? It's even being still, like the still hub of the wheel in the midst of great activity. All of the activity can be going on, and we feel the stillness within, and we're not perturbed by any external, no matter what. This beautiful kingdom, it's deep peace. It's the flow of love that continues to ease the way. As love goes before us, it makes all the crooked places straight. All is well. We have that sense that all is well. There is no need. There's nothing lacking. There is a sense of fullness and rightness with ourselves and with the world. And we have the consciousness of, I am that I am. Moses in the burning bush, needing to know God's name. I am that I am. And when you and I recognize that is the underlying truth that cannot be altered or changed, it makes it easier to move through the other kingdoms. And by the way, we continue moving through all the kingdoms throughout the day. We don't just stay in one place, which is why it's wonderful to ask, what kingdom am I in right now? And it's easy to determine by simply asking that question very lovingly, very gently, because then we can go through those portals and move to the next level. As Marcia Sutton and Lloyd Strong taught us, you move through the kingdoms like a blob, never staying too long in one. And that's part of our spiritual evolutionary process. Celebrate it. It's wonderful. I am. that I am. So we then learn not only to be okay for that moment in whatever kingdom of consciousness we find ourselves, but we also learn, this is a very important thing to me, we learn to pray from the kingdom where we are. Pray from the kingdom where you are. And if you're in Kingdom 1, a dear God please is an okay prayer. Okay? It truly is. I'm going to tell you this. I knew a woman once whose car careened off the road and she went into a ditch, and as she was going, she had a 2-word prayer. It just came right out of her mouth. It was Jesus Christ. And it was very effective, and she was not harmed. So pray from the kingdom you're in. There's really nothing to pray for when you're in Kingdom 4, is there? You're already there. If you're in Kingdom 2 and you're feeling like you're alone and you have to do everything you're by self, that's the time to reconnect with that loving presence within and realize this power within is greater than I. More of thee, less of me. That's a good prayer when you're in Kingdom 2. More of thee, less of me. It's beautiful. It lifts you right into it. Kingdom 3, when you're in this beautiful kingdom of where everything is done through you, then just open up to the flow of infinite love and divine wisdom moving through you. And you're treating in a very affirmative, conscious, loving, expectant way, because you know that as you court the presence, it's right there, loving you and moving through you. And as you direct the law, it responds to you according to your what? Your belief, of course. And so in Kingdom 4, I think, as Meister Eckhart said, if the only prayer you ever pray is thank you, that would be sufficient. That's all we need to do in Kingdom 4 is feel ourselves overflowing with gratitude. Isn't that great? Wherever we are, wherever we become aware that that's where we are in consciousness, our prayer, our treatment expresses itself through us accordingly. So knowing every good, loving intention makes a difference. We celebrate prayer. We celebrate everybody's prayer. If a Baptist or Muslim prays for me, I love it and I say thank you. It's a beautiful, loving energy. The words are different. Even the intentions may be somewhat different, but the main intention, because religion, religio, from the Latin, means to bind back to source. So what I am experiencing in celebrating anybody's prayer is that loving energy, that great compassionate intention is making a difference. And I appreciate it. I accept it. And I know when I'm doing my spiritual mind treatment, that is a loving energy that makes a difference around me and in this world. Because we're in the process of loving the world to wholeness. How can we do that if we are inauthentic? How can we do that if we don't recognize where we are in consciousness at the moment and work from that place? Yes? Everyone is evolving spiritually. Can we honor and respect every person's pace and every person's path and every person's choice and every person's consciousness and level of consciousness? It's not like some people are higher than others and others lower than others. It's just a place in our consciousness individually and as a people, as a divine expression of this wonderful life in human form. So let's honor each other. Let's honor ourselves and cut ourselves a little slack if we find ourselves in the kingdom that we thought we had grown beyond. We're going to move through them from time to time. Let's be sweet with ourselves. Let's be compassionate with ourselves and with one another. It will keep us from the blame game. It will keep us from having to forgive all that much, because if we don't blame to begin with, we don't have to forgive so much, although forgiveness is a wonderful thing, and we're never going to be done with it, because we do have that human aspect to our divine being, where we're going to make some mistakes. We're going to want to say, well, you did it. Well, you know, if it weren't for that having happened, that we're in the process of withdrawing from those false beliefs, intentions, behaviors, and activities. We're becoming our better angel selves, and I love that. So let's honor that within ourselves, and let's come back to the realization that no matter where we are throughout any day, in any consciousness, that we are still in that fourth kingdom, always there. It's the context that is holding all of the other experiences we may have in those other kingdoms of consciousness. It never stops being the truth. We are always and ever being held in that divine embrace. And which is great news, because we can always return to that place where the I am, that I am, reminds us of the great truth. So as we're all evolving spiritually, let's support each other along the way. Let's, yay for you! Let's celebrate each other. Let's support each other every way that we possibly can. Deep peace is possible. Infinite wisdom is always available. Love and compassion, universal love and infinite compassion are right here, ready for us to express them. One kingdom, and everything else shows up there, but it's still one kingdom. You and I dwell in it. And because we do, we can and we are loving the world to wholeness. So will you say with me, I am that I am. I'm an expression of the living God. I move gently through each consciousness. I celebrate everyone's spiritual journey. Including my own. And so, my beloveds, beginneth our lesson. Thank you, dear ones. Yay, small but mighty crowd. I think it might be time to do one of my favorite things. I love to give back to my community, which happens to be the closest source of my spiritual food. There's one source and many instruments through which that source provides inspiration and good of every nature. For me, this community is that. And so I love to give my gift personally, although you have so many ways to do this, so many internet and automatic possibilities. Whatever you do, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are getting healthier and healthier. The day is coming when we're going to be meeting more often and ultimately all the time. So thank you for making that possible with your loving contributions. So I'm taking this gift of mine to my heart, because I remember that every good gift comes from the very heart of the divine. Will you say with me our prosperity affirmation? I choose to celebrate prosperity. Divine love blesses my gift. It is my acceptance of God as the source of my abundant supply. With joy and gratitude, I share my abundance with this center. In doing so, I am one with the law of circulation. My tithe goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It returns to me multiplied abundantly, and I am prospered, and so it is.
Have enough to do the things I need to do, take care of myself. Will I have the strength of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness?
Hi, I'm Suzanne Smethers, and I'm happy to be a member of your Board of Trustees. Welcome, everyone. Yes, we are live streaming here from Inspiration Cafe in Paoli, Pennsylvania, and we are thrilled that you are tuning in today wherever you are in the world. We are excited that you are here with us today, sharing the wisdom here of our amazing Dr. Maxine and the kingdoms of consciousness. We had a wonderful labyrinth walk yesterday. I got to enjoy that for world peace. It was great to be together in person, and we'd like to extend our thanks to all who attended, especially the labyrinth facilitator Jane Downey, and along with our on-site organizer Edie Janik. And you will have another opportunity to gather at Wilson Farm Park in Chesterbrook on Sunday, September 18th at 10:30 a.m. for our affirmative prayer in the open air. Sunday celebration followed by a fun social hour with coffee and snacks. We will be at the same outdoor pavilion that we were in July, and just go on to our calendar events for September 18th, and you will you'll like to let us know that you are coming, and feel free to bring a snack to share. All are welcome. Our CSL home office is hosting a new documentary which celebrates the power of gratitude to ignite well-being and creativity and connection. At a time when each day brings more grim news, we humans urgently need to cultivate our individual strength and health, and we need to reconnect and heal each other in the natural world. Gratitude can help. To learn more about this event, go to our events calendar and click on September 21st for all the details and purchase your $12 ticket. Reverend Mike's Science of Mind textbook group continues each Saturday at 9:45 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. If you'd like to jump in, just go to our events calendar and click on the Saturday you'd like to join and register using the link. Reverend Mike will send you an email and instructions to join. If you are watching us and enjoying our Sunday celebrations and love notes on our Facebook or YouTube channel, please be sure to like and to subscribe and share with others. When you subscribe, you will receive notices when our Sunday celebration and our daily love notes are uploaded. Again, we continue to live stream our Sunday celebrations every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Just visit our website at www.cslphilly.org and click on the orange Watch Live button to see all of our virtual love notes and past Sunday celebrations. Well, that's it for today. Go out and enjoy this magnificent Sunday, and remember to pay attention to what kingdom you're in.
That was great, Suzanne. Thank you. Very wonderful. Oh, my goodness. And now we are going to have our closing song. Boy, the time just zipped by today, didn't it? We must have been in Kingdom 4. All right. The closing song is Charles Haynes and Evan Rock, and it's called We All Live in Abundance.
We all live in abundance. Life is sweet and love is free. We all live in abundance. Life is sweet and love is free. Now let's take a walk through the trees. Hear some birds, their harmonies. See some fruit, climb that tree. Mangosteen, what a dream. Skip-a-dee-bop-bop-bop-bop. Take some time to watch the sky and wonder why. Your heart is full, so let it flow. Trust the earth will let you know that we all live in abundance. Life is sweet and love is free. We all live in abundance. Life is sweet, love is free. Now at the market, see what's fresh. Organic growers, always the best. Take a sample, that's okay. You gotta love what you're buying today. Taste what's in season, that's the key. Earth ebbs and flows with you and me. Take a seed, look at what you got. Eat it right there, there's no better spot. We all live in abundance. Life is sweet, love is free. We all live in abundance. Life is sweet, love is free. Keep your seeds, spread them around. No better place for them than in the ground. Keep your seeds down and spread them around. There's no better place for them than in the ground. One more time, keep your seeds, spread them around. There's no better place for them than in the ground. And just imagine, in just a matter of time, we could all be swimming now in peaches, lemons, and limes. 'Cause we all live in abundance. Life is sweet, love is free. We all live in abundance. Life is sweet, love is free. We all live in abundance. Life is sweet, love is free. We all live in abundance. Planet Earth in harmony. Like jackfruits and...
That was fun. Thank you. I want to give special thanks to Payson Burt, who has been our wonderful engineer today. We have a great group. We have a wonderful production team. Thank you all, and thank you, Suzanne, for the great announcements, and Cheryl for a beautiful treatment. And thank you all for being here today. It means a lot to us. So as we go forward, it is with thankfulness in our hearts for the awareness of where we are and how we move forward and celebrate each other's beautiful spiritual journey. We are so grateful. All is well, and so it is.